everybody, I'm back again, and I saw a video from one of the people I subscribe to, Afro Think Tank, and he was putting a video out of how Australians want Australia to only be white. Yes, I've said that. They want Australia just to be exclusively white. Just like Israel, they want it all exclusively white. Just like in Africa, they want it exclusively only white. When the South Africans move in and take over South Africa and then slowly migrate to the other countries in Africa until primarily it becomes all white. In Europe, it was all primarily black because it was taken over by the Moors. And in 711 AD, they were driven out and killed and murdered and assassinated by the Romans and the Caucasian race and the Africans, the Canaanites. And that's why it's the way it is right now. What I don't understand is that they want the indigenous people who live there. They can't deny that. They can't deny that these people were there before them. That's not the main reason why they say and do the things that they do. They don't care about that. They know that's the truth, but logic and reasoning is not a part of their nature. But the more important thing to them is that it remains white. The reason why they saying that is because they know that they've taken over a country, a society that their ancestors murdered, raped, and stole. That's the main reason, and they want to acquire it. They know what they're suggesting and attempting into freezing society and time by basically keeping all the territories that their ancestors taken over and colonized to themselves, even if it means they have to resort to violent means, murder, rape, or anything else to completely subjugate the indigenous people that are living there. They understand that they're a slowly dying breed because they're living in land that they can't sustain. They can't live there. Most of the countries that they've taken over are extremely hot and extremely sunny. They have no melanin. A lot of these places, the white race that's living there are the majority there and slowly dying off. And the indigenous people realize that, and the white people, they're realizing that, is that they're developing skin cancer living there. And for example, in Israel, they're number 2 in cancer in the entire planet. Now that's strange because they claim to be the chosen people of God. They're essentially Jewish. Ish is like is pertaining to is not. Example is, if I said you were childish, are you a child? No, you're just acting like a child. So you're just acting like the chosen people that live there, and is why ironically is the Lord is heating up that place, is showing the world that, hey, they're not the people that belong there or live there or indigenous there. That's why they're being burnt up like bacon in every other place, including there. That they you know they don't belong there. But the really strange thing is that, just like in the video I'm gonna show you about what he did, what's going on there, is that they stay there despite knowing this, that they're slowly dying instead of going back to where they came from, like in Europe or the northern highlands in in Russia and Poland and the mountains and everything. This is where they're originally from, and they know this is the only place where they could survive in, because they're slowly dying of cancer, um, and it's almost like as if they stay there, and they subjugate and harass the indigenous people living there, despite what's happening to them medically. It's like almost like cutting your nose off in spite of your face. You want to remain there. You want to subjugate and harass and murder and rape and steal the people that live there, right? That the place the land that you stole from, just in spite of your face, in spite of your nose, right? For no reason. Because if you left there, you'd probably be, more healthier. You won't be dying. And since they know and see the numbers and what's happening to them, they still remain there. It's almost like they want to give an ick to them and say, and say, oh, we're never leaving here. This is our land. Our ancestors took it and conquered your people. That's the new term for the white people to, instead of saying murdering and rape and colonizing and stealing, they say, oh, we conquered you. That's just another word of colonizing you and murdering and taking and raping and all that. So they fall back on that definition to relieve all the guilt and shame that they have. And so they know that they losing these places very quickly, and they just being spiteful and just holding on to land and having these protests and saying, "Oh, whites only" and everything is so stupid. It's like you for instance, like I was thinking, it's like a people that lived in an oven, and the people who lived in the snow came to invade the people of the oven and told them to get out and everything, while they go in and live there. While the people that were living on it said, "You can't stay here. Look at you. You're melting and everything." He said, "No, no, no, no. This is our land. The oven is only for snow people." And they're melting and turning into puddles and everything. That's oops, sorry. That's what I mean by holding on to something or doing something in spite of your nose, in spite of your face. I mean, why? But it's because they're so wicked and racist and everything, that they would rather see another race of people suffer and destroyed and obliterated, just for just to like just to a massive, just to get a thrill out of it, just to remove people and see them suffer and taking over your place and everything. They believe it's so degrading, humiliating. They get off on that, and seeing people displaced and destroyed and everything, and taking over it. They think this is a natural progression of of uh, of of history of life and everything, where you go in and kill everyone and take their possessions and then whitewash it and claim it as yours, you know, which doesn't even make sense, because they're incapable of making anything, because they have no melanin. They have no melanin in their pineal gland or anything, and all these places where they have miraculous and amazing architecture and everything, they can't live there. But somehow they claim that they're Egyptians and things like that, and cutting off the nose of the Sphinx and everything, you know. And it's so absurd. It's so stupid. They literally claim that the white people were Egyptians. It's so stupid, man. And here in this case, they claiming that Australia belongs to them, and and the Aborigines have to get out. You know how dark those people are, man? They had to live in that hot region and everything to survive. They'll always be there. They'll always be there. They can survive living there. But the white people are not surviving. And this is why they're panicking and saying, oh, Australia for whites and everything. I mean, they have no other choice, you know? So the only thing that's viable to them is to protest, is to pass unrighteous laws to suppress the people, the indigenous people there, and to continue murdering and raping and stealing from them, to almost have like an artificial progression that's just frozen in time, run by white people. You know, there's no evolution, there's no progression and everything. Well, they know that everything will eventually return to its original state, you know, and they see it and they say, oh, you know, we're dying of cancer, we're burning like bacon in this land, you know, but, you know, we'll be humiliated, and, you know, that these people took back their land, you know, that our ancestors worked so hard and murdering and killing and raping them and everything, you know, and they're gonna, and in a sense, they're gonna lose face. So they come up with these protests and, you know, absurd things like, you know, it should be primarily white. You know, I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Given what we know about the biology of a white person, they can't exist there. And they can hide it in their media and everything, and all the places where they reside, that they're dying of cancer, you know, at an amazing rate. Our ozone layer is being depleted as we speak, with UV rays coming in. Of course, that does nothing to us, you know, people who have melanin and things like that. But then forget it. I mean, it's absolutely deadly. It's almost ironic that if scientists, when they study bacteria in microscopes, they expose them to UV light and everything, and what happens? They die, you know, immediately. You know, is this something that God is trying to tell us, or something, or maybe something they know, and say, hey, we're like a foreign mutative race of people that injected ourselves into the human genome here and everything. And you know, when, you know, it gets hotter here and everything, or any other place, you know, we have to intervene and artificially suppress the evolution of the people, the indigenous people living there, not to come back or rise up and everything, while, you know, we're slowly dying out. You know, we're not going to give you that satisfaction of taking back your land naturally without firing a single shot, and us burning on the concrete like bacon sizzling on the concrete, you know. So this is basically what's happening. But I'm gonna let you watch the video. It's really good. And then like before, I'm gonna come back and talk about it just a little bit more.
White man! White man! White man! White man! White man! White man!
What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. So, in Australia, we got some copycats, okay? So we got some white folks in Australia who are saying they want all the black people gone. And see, in Australia, when they mean the black people, anybody that's not an Anglo-Saxon barbarian from Europe, all right? And they're saying that Australia should be for the whites, right? Like, and they're saying black people have Africa, right? They're saying Asia has Asia, and white folks should have all of their colonies, including Europe, right? And they always, they're saying that they don't have, I think they're coming to the realization that their home base is suffering from multiculturalism, right? And a soft invasion of all of the victims of their oligarchs' imperialism globally, right? So now, like I keep saying in my videos, all the descendants of the colonizers who are currently living in the countries that their forefathers stole, raped, murdered, and killed to get. They're now dealing with the realization that they can't hold on to it no more. So like I said, in all of their colonies, right? All of their colonies, they're losing their mind because they're no longer the majority. They're not able to hold on to power. They're not able to hold on to institutions. And now their reaction is to be racist, right? And the funny thing is, why are they always wearing black? Like, I thought y'all didn't like black, but y'all wear dark colors to look intimidating, right? That means that y'all are intimidated by us because we're dark. Like, I know that's what it is, right? I know that's what it is. And I always found it weird how you still try to use the symbolism of us against us, you know, while saying you don't like us because of the same thing that you guys like. It's weird. I just find it like, how do these Australians not realize that their ancestors were murderers and they murdered some of the most precious people ever to walk this earth, those Aboriginal Australians? How is it possible they don't understand why the places that they inhabit is currently being brownitized? They don't understand the consequences of their world-conquering ancestors. It's like, are you going to skip the whole part where you guys went all to everybody else's country and stole it? You don't belong there. There's no Australia for white folk. That's not where you're from. You guys can barely live there. You guys got like some of the highest cases of skin cancer because you're not supposed to be in that kind of environment with your skin. But you guys stay there and your skin burns up and y'all catch cancer all just because y'all want to be someplace that's not your place. Every place but Europe. If all of you Europeans went back to your homelands and took care of that, right, instead of occupying somebody else's country, right, causing them problems, disenfranchising the local and Aboriginal populations, y'all stop terrorizing the world and go back to Europe and build Europe up and make Europe great the way you want everybody else's country to be great under your occupation, and y'all be all right. But y'all don't want to do that. The Australians, Europeans don't want to go back to Europe. The South Africans in that colony don't want to go back to Europe. The Europeans in America, and America is a colony. It's not really a real country. Y'all stole that. Y'all don't want to go back to Europe, and the Europeans don't want to move to any of your colonies. See, so what happened is all of you guys are stuck in your colonies because America thinks, the Europeans in America think that they're going to make America the brand new colony. They figure that's a better strategic location in Europe because they see Europe being invaded. But at the same time, the same thing's happening. The world is becoming global and people are mixing up, right? And so this whole idea of whiteness is going to be a flash in the pan when it comes to history. And they need to get over it. And it's not like they're disappearing. They're not going extinct. They're just becoming brown. They're becoming what they used to be before they became white. That's it. I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it, right? Just your skin, the skin that you don't want any goddamn way, the skin that don't agree with the sun is going to be brown and is going to get along with the sun. You're going to be improved. Like, your group of people are going to be improved and they're going to go off into the future like everybody else, but they're going to be brown. They're not going to be pale and white. I don't know why y'all still stuck on that. Y'all need to get over that shit. That white skin doesn't do anything for you at all. You might as well brown it up. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just humans evolving, humans adapting to its environment, and y'all gonna have to adapt. But this racism thing is not, you guys are not adapting. You understand that when animals don't adapt to their new environment, they disappear. When creatures don't adapt to their new environment, they disappear. And Europeans globally are gonna have to adapt to their new environment or they will disappear. And that is not a threat. That is the absolute truth, because people are not gonna tolerate this irrational racism and hate. And I don't think you would tolerate, you guys don't even like to be criticized. Look how upset you guys get when people even call out the things that you do, right? That's just a little bit of criticism, and look how you guys handle it. But look what you guys do to everybody else, and look how they have handled it. Y'all gotta thicken up your skin. Y'all gotta come back to reality, because like I said, under your own power, you will eliminate yourself. Under your own power, like the dodo bird, you will go extinct because you refuse to fly and you just want to walk around and be fat and happy, while everybody else is in the sky soaring. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
White man! White man! White man! White man!
Wow. I did not think that Pauline Red Dog Hansen had so many Gunner babies. White man, fight back. White man, fuck you. If you're a racist cunt, fuck you. Trying to fight back, You have to remember, black fellas, Polynesians, Micronesians, Africans, anything with a brown skin color, if we all stood up, white man, fuck you. Strange thing about it was probably taped around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning when no black fellas or nobody was out. You're all dressed in black, you all got masks. You're a bunch of poofters, a bunch of weak cunts scared. Show yourself. Look at them all. All Pauline Hanson's kids that popped out of our arsehole. Thank you, Red Dog, for the shit cunts you just popped out. And in saying that, brothers and sisters, fuck racism, fuck everything they stand for. Adios.
And our Prime Ministers again and again and again affirmed the White Australia policy, the racial principle and so on. The only thing that everyone could agree upon in Australian Parliament for the first half of our nation's existence was that Australia would be for the white man. They disagreed on all other kinds of policies around economic policy and other policies. They agreed Australia would be for the white man. And that was the whole reason why Australia was federated in the first place, was to create a coherent immigration policy to secure Australia for the white man. When we say Australia for the white man, we didn't make that up. That's our slogan, but that slogan has been around since before Australia's federation. That was the slogan of the Australian nationalist movement in the 1880s, the 1890s. That's where we got it from. We are the representatives. Yeah, we are, and that is distinct, but we are fundamentally the representatives of the white Australian nation in the 21st century in Australian politics.
Australia's not white, and it never was. It's controversial, right? It's hard hitting to hear something like that. But this is someone's common response to a video I made, which is about to hit 1 million views. It's got over 64,000 comments, replies, likes, all that good stuff. They're saying basically, in response, Australia is not a white country, it never was and never will be. The reason this whole thing started is because someone made a video saying that Australia should remain white and no one who isn't of Caucasian descent and has white complexion should not be allowed in the country, and on top of that, they should speak English. So if you're an immigrant and you don't speak English, guess what? You're not Australian. To the point that they said in the video that, hey, as a white person, I feel like I'm the minority and I shouldn't feel like I'm the minority, so you should speak English. Yes, Australia didn't start off as a white nation, but here we are today with Caucasians, immigrants, different people who have migrated of all different ethnicities and creeds. You would think that everyone would like the fact that Australians are multicultural, and some people actually do. But then there's another demographic who want it to be white. They do it through passive-aggressive nature, subtle racism, little digs, not letting people get into sporting teams, favoritism. And then you've got the other side, which now rebuttals that. Hey, I've been hard done, you've taken from me because this was my land, e.g. indigenous people, e.g. people who have maybe owned something and it's been stripped of them just because they didn't have enough power and they were wrongly accused. And basically their rights were taken away because they weren't deemed to be worthy. If you tell someone, hey, go back to your country, go back to your nation, you are not part of this country, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have people basically going, hey, let's look at the layout of the land. And if you say I should go back to my nation, like a minority now, similar to how the immigrants would feel, similar to how the indigenous people feel, then you can get this comment, which is, well, it's never been white. And it shouldn't be white. So what are you even complaining about? Boo hoo hoo. A lot of people would say that comment right there is insensitive. How dare you go, Australia was never white. And it never was. And it shouldn't be. What about me? What about the Caucasian? What about the white people? What happened to multiculturalism? It's really funny when the shoe's on the other foot how people get upset. Can you really get mad at a comment like this if you go around making policies or even making a environment where people don't feel like they're part of the country? Of course they're going to backlash and have that layout of the land. Now I'm not saying this is good to go up to someone and say, but is there some truth in it? And also if there's truth in it, why do people not want to hear that? Is it because they don't want to reflect? It's because they don't want to hear the truth because therefore now there's acknowledgement at play.
Aboriginals, trauma, they're behaving that way because of 250 years ago. What the f are you still playing victim for? Every it's invaded, move on. Listen up, you silly. Let's break down what you're saying very quickly. If a white person's parents were traumatized, guess what? That trauma doesn't just disappear when they have kids. It gets passed down through how they raise their kids, how they cope in life, how they try to make sense of what the f happened to them, what's going on now. Unhealed trauma gets passed on. Now take that same idea and apply it to blackfellas. Stretch it over recent generations, so things that are very recent. For example, the official stolen generation existed right up to the 1970s. Do the math. What do you think the effect of that is? You think not knowing who you are, what the fuck you are, where you fit in, where you come from, wouldn't have an effect on your mental health, your sense of identity, your ability to heal? If you think that's just a distant thing from something that officially ended 50 years ago, I'm playing chess with a pigeon. And before you say, because a lot of you are so predictable, I was traumatized as a kid, I turned out fine. Well, did ya? Because you don't have any emotional intelligence. But anyway, that is beautiful. And you should be very proud of yourself. But not everyone's trauma is the same as yours. And even if it is the exact same, though, in the exact same position as you, not everyone can process trauma in the same way or at the same speed as you. The next time you dismiss Aboriginal trauma, remember it is not just something that all Aboriginals should just move on from. Like some blackfellas haven't worked through what happened. We need you to understand it is deep, it is real, and it is still affecting people today. Don't shut your eyes, put your fingers in your ears and go, la 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 la. Think that by doing so, everything disappears. All the trauma disappears, blah, 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 blah. Use what God gave you, please.
Anyone who still believes that racism does not exist in Australia, this video is just for you. To preface, I'm a 17-year-old girl who just shares my opinions online. Never claim to be correct. Never claim to be the smartest person ever. However, I share my opinion, which I'm allowed to do. This is my fucking TikTok account. Anyways, let's get into the first comment. Why can't whites have a country that's predominantly whites? Why do Arabs, Asians, blacks have things, but white countries are for everyone? Like, I literally want to laugh. It is almost like whites have literally stolen from each of the mentioned races here. And the irony in the fact that he's asking for whites to have something that's predominantly theirs. Please, go do research before you come commenting on my page, okay? In my video, I was talking about why is racism normalized, and so this guy said it is because it's a settler colony. That does not have to be true. I believe we can all change the world if everybody just puts one step forward. So this does not have to be true. If everyone just chooses, you know what, hey, tomorrow I'm not going to be racist. I'm not going to judge people based off of their appearance or what the preconceived notions about their race are. Racism will be gone. I know it sounds fucking crazy. It's actually very simple, but you know, people like to overcomplicate it. Like, honorable mention this comment, welcome to how indigenous feel here in Australia. Makes me very, very sad, because obviously they have endured extreme pain and suffering and loss, and I think us as a society have moved so fast away from what happened to them, and they're just kind of suffering with the inherited trauma, which I think is so sad. I do pray every single day for their healing. Somebody says leave then, somebody responds, you're literally the problem. Thanks, Tasha, you actually have a brain in your head. Actually have some empathy, which I love to see, because this world just loves apathy for no reason. This world just loves to think everyone needs to care about me and my sadness, but other people's sadness doesn't mean that much because it doesn't really impact me. That's literally his mindset summarized, and that needs to change. Yesterday, this grown man tells me, a 17-year-old who was born in this country, to off. Are you not embarrassed? I want to assume you have kids. If somebody said that to your kids or hypothetical kids, how would you feel? Wouldn't be so funny then. Wouldn't be so easy to say then, huh? But the lack of empathy. But your ungrateful ass moved here. Babe, I was born here. I've said this 1,000 times now. I feel like I was born here. I didn't choose to be here. I was literally born in this country. Like, I'm Australian. Stop assuming I'm born in Africa and I came here. I'm literally an Australian citizen. It's talking about how they've experienced racism when they first moved in. Not everyone's racist, which I totally agree. Never claim that everybody is racist. And then this guy says, don't buy into this. It's guilt trip for them. Even grievance is racism, blah, blah, blah. It's historical proof that alludes to the fact that they were mistreated severely, even to the point of death. And we all know this. It's not guilt tripping. So please use your critical thinking skills, babe. Then we've just got this queen. Keep speaking about this. Love you guys so much. I appreciate all of your love comments. I try to like all of them. Anyways, please let this video be a lesson that you need to think critically before you comment, because you need to make sure what you're speaking about is at least a little bit true or isn't hurtful, stupid, or mean. Love you.
I take my child to the playground and every single other child at the playground is speaking a foreign language to their parent. My child is the only child at the playground that's speaking English. And I'm surrounded by people that are being told, oh, this is a great multicultural diversity. And it just means less white people, less white culture. And ultimately, we're going to turn into global South Africa. And I will fight to stop that from happening. I had family in South Africa. I'm not letting it happen here. And so I'm trying with all my might to be peaceful and reasonable and political, but we have to protect white Australia. We have to.
literally don't know where to start. There's so many things to destroy in this argument. Oh my gosh, boo-hoo. Oh, your child's the only person who speaks a different language from all the other people around them. Sounds insensitive to say it like that, right? You can't be like, oh, Australia has to be literally just all white, and I don't like it that my child goes to the playground and no one speaks the same language. No, you know what? Instead of upgrading and being more inclusive and understanding, hey, this is my culture, this is your culture, let's come together. No. How about your culture just leaves, okay? So everyone looks and sounds like me. Because I don't want it to look like South Africa. That's what he said. Keep in mind the apartheid and all that other stuff that happened. It's almost like it was the black people's land. And then the white dudes went over there and did their thing and took it over. Nelson Mandela and all that stuff happened. And then he's saying, I don't want it to be like that. He's basically inferring that the South Africans had land, they had power, and then they lost it to the blacks, even though it was their land to begin with. Ironic that it's sort of like the same mindset that he has with Australia. It was indigenous peoples, and then the white people got it, occupied it, and now he's angry that it's becoming diverse and multicultural, which is not even to the degree he's saying. Look, everyone should live in harmony. Some places have more white people, some places have more black people, okay? It's okay to have different cultures. We're not trying to take it from you. And if we were, rightfully so, you couldn't even be mad because you took it from someone else. What goes around comes back around, or karma. Not that I believe in karma, but you get what I'm saying. Imagine saying that. Oh, I'm gonna walk little Timmy. Oh my gosh, no one's black around here. Oh, it's the government's fault. And you know what? Even though it's the government's fault, I actually hate it that everyone's speaking a different language than this language, okay? Our language is the best language. It's the superior one. And I don't like it that we don't have our own place. So all you other families who have come from hardship, yeah, all you other families come from hardship and have had a tough time migrating and assimilating, guess what? I actually don't think you belong here, even though this is pretty much stolen land. And you know what? I feel unfairly done. Yes, it was taken from you, but I want my people to have it. Talk about the irrational mindset.
So anyone who believes that words don't hurt or have an impact probably hasn't seen the effect 2 words can have on a room full of straight, white, cis men. Diversity and inclusion. So forget nuts, forget gluten. The new allergy in town that's growing at a really rapid rate is D&I intolerance. And for those who suffer from D&I intolerance, they don't even need to touch a diversity and inclusion policy. Simply being within earshot of one being discussed is enough for symptoms to run rampant. Their hands get clammy. They start to twitch, their throats get dry, some break out in hives. There are even being an increasing number of fits reported, usually of the hissy variety. But hey, fits nonetheless.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.
Yeah. How crazy is that? You know, I mean, that'd be like if I went to somebody's house and said, hey, you know, you get out of here and everything. This is what I mean, is that they don't know their history and they artificially create these conquests and everything. You know, it's actually murder, rape, and theft, you know, to interject themselves into the society and culture and land of people who are originally there. And because they think, because they have dark skin, right, that they're animals. But even though their own white scientists say that we are the pure humans. Hue. What's hue? Is having a shade, a color, melanin. Those are humans, right? Their own scientists say this. Is that and they feel that because we look like that, we're completely dummies, right? Even despite in history, they had to be saved by us in every way possible, agriculturally, municipally, with medicine and even something as simple as hygiene. You know, I mean everything, and then claim that they did this. You know, even though despite they trying to erase it from society, the internet, and history and everything, and just rewrite it and say, "Hey, we did this." As absurd as that sounds, everybody knows that this is not true. You know, it's only in America that people they don't want nobody to know what's going on, right? And now you have these other countries that are trying to spread this disgusting propaganda of white supremacy and everything, that Australia has to remain white. Why are they saying that? You know, was it originally white? No, they're basically saying between the lines is that it has to remain white because our ancestors went through hell, murdering, killing, and stealing people by the millions, and it's going to be a waste, that these people, these brown people, are going to get their land back. That's the biggest that's the biggest payback ever. They get their land back without firing a single shot. And that something as simple as the sun is getting rid of them. And that's burning them up inside. They hate it. They hate it. They hate them. They hate their own biology. They hate people who live there, naturally, and they have to get rid of them, just to keep their land. It's unbelievable. And these people run the world, which is gonna come to an end very soon, because we just attacked Iran and everything, and we're gonna have the third world war, and everyone's gonna die, including me, my children, my friends, my family, everybody. Everybody's gonna be dead. That's the only way the Lord is gonna come back, when everyone is dead, every living thing. Every bird, every animal, every fish, dead. There's gonna be a dead planet, except the people that are gonna be hiding in their underground bases. But they might as well be dead because they can't come out. The radiation is gonna be so high, they're not gonna be able to come out of those bases for at least 2,000 years. So they might as well stay down there. And it's all in the hands of the white people, the cave people. And I hope you get what you deserve in the next world. You need to burn in hell. Fuck you.